The cause of inflation is multifaceted, and we can really break that down if we look at the supply side and the demand side of the economy. On the demand side, we've seen consistently high demand coming out of the pandemic for the last 2 years as a result of two primary factors. Number one, we've seen a labor market that has recovered very quickly. In South Carolina, we have more people working today than we did in February of 2020, before the pandemic began, which is great news for the state because it's providing wages to South Carolinians, which they are then going and spending. But on top of that, we've had a significant federal fiscal stimulus package that has provided stimulus checks. It provided enhanced unemployment insurance benefits in 2020 and 2021. It provided a number of tax credits. And so when you put those two together, the federal fiscal stimulus and a rapidly recovering job market, you have consumers that are in a pretty good financial position. And even today, we see that households across the income spectrum have checking account balances on average that are well above where they were in 2019. And so that's propelling this very high level of demand and bidding up prices and contributing to inflation. But that's not the only cause. We also have the supply side constraints as well. We all know about the semiconductor shortages and the food and energy shortages that we're seeing because of global supply chain constraints and the war going on in Russia and Ukraine. And that's the other factor. And that is a more of a wild card, particularly when we look at the war in Russia and Ukraine, because we don't know what the outcome is going to be or how long that's going to last. And the supply side of the equation is also something that the Fed can't directly influence. So they are raising interest rates in the hopes of pulling inflation down because they are trying to pull that excess demand that we talked about down. But they can't really do anything about the supply chain constraints that we're seeing. They can't do anything about the war. So the Fed can have an impact, but there are other factors at play as well. So it's a multifaceted challenge, both coming from the supply and the demand side.